Yes, YouTube, what is happening? We are back. I am back. We are back. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be taking you through my prep experience, my post-show experience so far. I'm 9 weeks post-show today. Also telling you about my why, about why I do what I do in terms of coaching, bodybuilding, and why I love it, and why that is important to you, and why you need to find what your why is. God, I did a why speed run there. I feel like I said that word so many times. And then there'll be a few other things put in there as well, like what my new training split is. And yeah, let's jump straight into it. So most of my life, I did not go to the gym. I actually didn't step foot in a gym for the first time until I was 18, and I had no idea what I was doing, wasn't taking it seriously, and I didn't really make much progress. Then I went just after COVID, after all the lockdowns were done, so late 2022, I went not all in, but I took it a lot more seriously. I just started eating 5,000 calories, tried to get strong as fuck. And in about 6 to 8 months, I went from 77 kilos to about 102. And then I did an 8-week diet by myself, where I basically cut out all carbs. And I dropped down to about 95, 96 kilos. Obviously burnt out, couldn't get any further, but I still needed to lose fat. So I got my first coach, and that was in April of 2023. Sorry, if I look down here, it's because I've got my laptop open with some notes. Yeah, in April 2023, and I started with Mr. Sam Lancaster. And if you're watching this, Sam, he changed my life, he saved my life. I was not in a very good place. I was fat and unhappy. And yeah, in the pursuit of losing fat and getting my abs out, he saved my life. I was in a much better position just getting my abs out. But I digress and went on a little bit of a tangent there. But we started about 200 pounds and we got down to 78 kilo, which I believe is around 177. So, in about 3.5, 4 months. So, we lost, what's that, nearly 25, 30 kilo in 20 to 30 kilo. Yeah, 20 to 30 kilo in about 4 months. And yeah, mate, like that was the leanest I'd ever been. And I felt awful, don't get me wrong, like I was in a deficit for a long time, and looking back on it, like my hormones were definitely crashed, and it was not, we pushed it way too far in terms of, we probably should have taken some breaks, but that was on me because I didn't understand how to feel. I was just doing it, but you live, you learn, and I've never found a diet that hard ever again, and that was the hardest one that I found, but I got it done. And then I started with a new coach after for about a year. I was with Sam for about a year, and I started with Luke, who I was with up until as of recently when I finished prep. And yeah, we started prep in March of 2024. I started at 183 pounds, and my lowest weigh-in of prep was just before filling up before the last show in August, so it would have been the last week of September. I was 151 pounds, so over 30 pounds pulled off in a 23-week prep. And how did I find prep? For the most part, I enjoyed it. Like, actually, to be straight up with you, I enjoyed every single part of it. It was hard, and there was definitely points of it where it sucked, and being 150 pounds, it feels like a strong gust of wind might blow you away. And some days you get up and your legs are heavy, and cognitive functions out the window, attention span of like the average 4-year-old nowadays and 8-year-old, where they're just screens everywhere, can't concentrate on a single thing. But I got up, I did what I had to do, and I got fucking pilled. Like, I got as pilled as I could do with the amount of muscle that I had, so I'm very happy with that. But the actual prep experience, for the most part, like to start with, I had to push very hard for fat loss, and obviously being someone's first prep, you're normally gonna have to push quite hard because your body's never gone to that place before, so it's a lot more resistant of getting to that position. So at the height of my expenditure and prep, I was doing 16k steps daily. That's not including cardio. And I was doing 40 minutes cardio on a training day, 60 minutes on a non-training day. And I think my calories at the time were around an average of 2,000, split between a training day and a non-training day. So yeah, you know, I'm not saying I had it the worst, but definitely had to push quite hard. And I was on that not for like a week or two. I think I was on that for a good like 6 to 8 weeks, maybe even 10 weeks. And then eventually it was around 10 weeks out from the first show, which was the 29th of July. I was fucked. And Luke will pay testament to this, is I will never admit how fucked I am. Like, I will just, you know, you tell me what to do and I'll do it. And we had a call, and it basically, yeah, he within 5 seconds he went, "You're fucked, aren't you?" And I just went, "Yeah, probably." And he could just tell from that phone call. And then from there, we actually took a deload off of the gym. So I didn't go to the gym for like 5-7 days. Came back and yeah, I didn't actually do any cardio the rest of prep from there. It was just food and steps. And that was more enjoyable because I didn't have to do any cardio. But that was hard because my calories at the lowest got down to 1400, both on a training day and a non-training day. And I can't remember exactly what the protein was and the fat, but I know the carbs on a training day was 60 grams and the carbs on a non-training day was 30 grams. So pretty much trace carb on a non-training day, and then a couple rice cakes on a training day. And to be honest with you, like, it was hard, but it was so hard that it was enjoyable. You know, the fact that I was going into the gym, eating barely fuck all, doing like anywhere between 10 and 14,500 steps, you know, depending on where we needed to escalate it to. But my body weight was just coming down and down and down. I think for the last 8 weeks of prep, obviously I didn't do any cardio and I was just on low food doing steps and training. And literally every day it was like a new low weigh-in, or at least every other day it was like a new low weigh-in. I think I went from about 160 down to 151 before filling up for the last show, just off no cardio, steps and training alone. And yeah, towards the back end of that, it was hard. You know, you're going into the gym and it's like you've got no ability to concentrate. Everything feels heavy, but you go in there and you progress. And I remember telling myself at the time, I thought, if I can progress my lifts, or at least maintain my lifts, eating 60 grams of carb, 1400 calories on a training day, what the fuck can I do when I get into an off season and I'm having like 100 grams of carbs before training? And that's why now, like, I haven't not progressed, you know, on more than 70% of my movements in every session since coming out of prep, and it will be that way for the rest of off season. And whenever I do diets again, like, I will be able to progress no matter what, because I was able to progress at the lowest body weight I'd ever been, flat, depleted, and also eating fuck all food. So that was one thing that really shifted my mindset in prep. But the actual prep itself, like, I loved it, and the actual being on stage, and obviously I'll put pictures up, probably I put some pictures up along the way. But yeah, I got as lean as I could. And you know, with the amount of muscle I had, and just to get leaner, it wouldn't have been productive. I would have lost more, if not some muscle, if I'd already lost some. And yeah, to get leaner, I just need more muscle. So after that show on the 3rd of August, we pulled prep. Well, not pulled prep, it was just, I just told him that I was gonna finish prep then. And then I actually transitioned to a new coach, who is Finn Kelly, Natural Physique Coaching. Been with him 9-10 weeks now. And post show, yeah, it's been going really well. Like, obviously the weigh-in of, we started the off season at 157 pounds, because obviously 151 pounds, that was me flat and depleted. The day of the show, I was 154.5. And then the day after the show, I was 157. And for the first week, you know, he put me up to about 2.7 thousand calories. And we dropped a little bit of weight, and I wasn't doing any cardio, just 8 to 10K steps. Added more food in, and since that I've not had a food increase because my body weight has just been climbing. So I'm 9 weeks post show as of recording this, and I'm 169 pounds. I have not binged or anything like that, but I'm very happy with how I've managed the post show. Like, I didn't binge. Like, the day of the show, the day prep ended, I went out for a Nando's and then I had a white chocolate Twix. I did not eat anything off plan for the next like 3 or 4 weeks. I then went out for a steak with my girlfriend. And then I literally have maybe had 2 more off plan since then. They've been like Wagamamas, and I've always tracked it and I've fitted it in. But yeah, 169 pounds. And to be fair, that's a little bit of a jump up recently. Normally I've been averaging 168, but for the sake of it, we'll say 169. So from the day that prep finished and off season started, or recovery phase started, I was 157 pounds. and I'm now 169. So 12 pounds up in 9 weeks is not bad, when a lot of people post-prep are probably putting that on within like 5 days, you know, some people. Not saying that's what you should do, because you definitely shouldn't. It's not healthy, it's not sustainable, and you're just gonna fuck your hormones up. But the actual post-show experience itself, I have found it very enjoyable. Training has been flying. I've been absolutely like frothing at the mouth to get into train, progressed every single session. The only thing I struggled with is not the scale weight number itself, but just seeing that look get softer. Initially, I was struggling a little bit with the scale weight going up, you know, because we haven't added any more food in since the initial calorie adjustment after week 1, and body weight's just been climbing. But the actual thing I've been struggling with is just seeing the look, you know, dissipate, if you want to call it that. And it's, you know, obviously you're going to be putting a bit more fat on, and you need to post-show, but whenever you get into a bulk, you're going to be putting more fat on. But just seeing how hard you've worked, and it's like, I knew how much work I had to do to get from 183 down to 170, 170 down to 160, and then 160 down to 150, and then to almost be back at 170 again. I know that I need to be there to be healthier, but yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't want to be cutting my off season short. And yeah, I was getting in my head a little bit about it now, but it's definitely eased. And I think it's exacerbated due to the fact that your post-show hormones are all over the place, and, you know, X, Y, and Z. But the usual stuff that people struggle with post-show is obviously the hunger, the lack of direction, motivation. I've stayed motivated. I've not had a lack of direction. I've had a sense of direction. You know, I set myself goals way before prep had even finished of what I wanted to do after prep, so I didn't fall into that trap of like, what the fuck do I do now? Like, I'm lost. So yeah, very happy with how I've managed post-show, and I'm still enjoying it now. And, you know, I just want to grow. So the plan is obviously take out, probably take time off until 2028, because I've got a client, shout out to Tom, put a picture of him on screen. He's going to be going in 2027. So I was either going to compete in 27 or 28, but having Tom on stage in 27, being my first client on stage, I don't want to be prepping at the same time as him. I want all my focus to be on him, because I am a coach before an athlete, and I want to give him the best experience of prep. Also, I want to bring him in at the best. So yeah, and obviously if anyone is watching this and is interested in competing in 2027 and wants to go at the same time as Tom, you know, now's the time. Inquire, link in bio, shameless plug. But yeah. And then I've had a few questions about what is my current split and how is my training looking. So I've already told you my calories, which is about 3,000. I think it's about 390 carb on a training and 300 on a non-training, protein around the 190s, fats around the 50 to 70s. But my training is upper, lower, rest, repeat with 2 different rotations. And mate, it's been fucking amazing. I've never done that. I've only ever done push-pull legs. And before this, with my old coach Luke, I was on upper, lower, rest, push, legs, pull. But I've been absolutely loving the upper, lower, rest. The frequency, like hitting everything every 6 days as opposed to 7, just a chance to progress that little bit quicker. It's fucking amazing, and my body is responding very well to it. Don't get me wrong, I do feel battered on some days, most days, but that's good. That's what you want. Like, that's what off-season is about. Like, in a diet, you feel battered because you've got low energy, low food, you're still training. But in off-season, you're still going to feel battered. You know, you're gonna feel battered because you're pushing more food. Obviously, I'm not pushing food that much at the moment, but pushing more food, you're pushing your training, you're lifting, you know, new weights in the gym. So it's a different type of battered. But you got to understand, like, if you're in one phase thinking, oh, I can't wait to be in the other one so I don't feel this, every phase is hard. They're just hard in different ways. And funnily enough, the things that are easy about one is normally what's hard about the other. So what's easy about an off season potentially is, you know, training. Training is a lot easier. Progressions are a lot easier. What's harder in a deficit for some people? Training, you know, it's harder. In a diet, you know, towards the end, you're going to be feeling a lot hungrier. But then the trade-off is when you get into off season, towards the end, you're going to not be as hungry potentially. So it's learning to love the phase that you're in as well. That's going to help you with bodybuilding in general, to be honest. You've got to understand, bodybuilding, at no point should you ever feel comfortable. If you feel comfortable, you're not making the most progress. And I think that's the biggest thing to take away. Then, moving on to my why and why you need to establish your why. So my why is a little bit deep, and obviously I won't get into it too much, but I struggled a lot with mental health. And let's just say, like, I potentially might not be here if God didn't allow me to. Sorry to get all spiritual, but yeah, if God didn't allow me to, I might not be here. And that is my why. You know, bodybuilding saved my life. The routine, the regimen that I got from it saved my life. And as cringy as it sounds, that is my why. But your why could be something as simple as I want to see my abs, or it might be a case of like, it just brings me happiness. But the deeper rooted your why is, the stronger it is. Therefore, the stronger or the more likely you are to follow it. So find your why and stick to it. And every time something gets hard, remember why you started, remember why you're doing it. You know, really sit down and think to yourself, like, why do I want to do this? What do I get out of this? Does it bring me happiness? Do I like the challenge? Why am I doing this? Am I doing it for, because if your why is based off of, I want to do this because I want to look good for other people, that might be enough to get you started and maybe enough to get you to get your abs out for the first time, but that's not going to make you love it. You know, strong examples of whys are, you know, I'm doing this because it makes me feel healthy. I'm doing this because it makes me feel happy. I'm doing this because it gives me a sense of purpose. You know, the more on like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if you've seen that, like the closer you can get to that self-actualization, meaning more internalized, more intrinsic motivation towards your goals, the more likely you are to follow them, the more likely you are to give 100% to it. So find your why. It's incredibly important. And also my why outside of my own bodybuilding journey is, now I've started coaching, which I started in December 2024, is I fucking love helping people. And it gives me such enjoyment actually helping people achieve the goals, because like I said to you before, that first coach changed my life, changed my perspective on a lot of things. And I thought if I could help people achieve that same sort of thing, then that will bring me a lot of fulfillment. And I've done that with a lot of people now, and I'm continuing to do that with a lot of people. So, you know, I kind of have two whys. I have the one I told you about, which is my own personal one towards my own personal journey. And then I have one that is more tailored towards my wife helping people. Like, and again, it's deep rooted personally for me, but I want to make that impact on other people. And like, if I can just help someone get a little bit happier, or be a bit more content, or be proud of themselves, or do something that they never thought they could do, then that brings me a lot of fulfillment. And it brings, you know, I don't care about the money. Like, I know everyone says that, but I really don't care about the money. I just want people to be happy, and I just want people to know what they can achieve, and I want people to be able to achieve it. And I will always help people, and I love talking to people, stuff like that I always have. So that's how I've kind of fallen into this. But yeah, been a little bit of a different type of video, potentially shorter. I don't even know how long I've been rambling for. But if you are interested in coaching, links in the bio, Josh Dandy on Instagram. Let me know down below if you enjoyed this sort of video, what your why is. I'd love to hear what your whys are. I'm sure there's going to be some funny ones. There's going to be some, you know, deep-rooted ones as well. Actually, before I leave you, I'll tell you one more funny thing. The actual reason I got started in the gym to start with, first of all, is because I was insecure about the size of my legs, and I thought, I was single at the time, and I thought if I was going to have a girlfriend, they're probably going to have bigger legs than me, and I can't have that. So that's the actual reason that I got started in the gym to start with, is I was insecure about my legs. So I used to train legs like 3 times a week, and I would just squat until failure all the time, because that is my why for why I wanted to start. And then obviously my why has got deeper since. But yeah, that's been all from me, and any questions let me know. But thank you for watching.